So hey guys, Bluebridge here. It wasn't pretty, but we got the job done. So welcome to the match review of Chelsea 2, West Ham 1. Yeah, so we burst that West Ham bubble and we couldn't have Graham Potter come to Stamford Bridge and take 3 points. That would have been the most embarrassing result. A manager that we sacked a couple of seasons ago to come here and take 3 points with his struggling West Ham side. And it could have been a case because it looked that way for most of the game, especially in the first half. Chelsea looked lethargic. The game was flat. The supporters was flat. I think, obviously, what's been going on in today's transfer deadline day, the fact that we haven't really strengthened our side and not getting the striker that we need, and then we was told that we're getting some 19-year-old French midfielder. Can't remember his name, never heard of him before, and he's going to be our only signing of the window. And I couldn't believe it because obviously Jackson went down holding his hamstring, and I thought, typical Chelsea, not strengthening, and we'll have to rely on Mark Gué for the last 17 games of the season. And Jackson didn't look like he was running freely. Don't know whether he came off, his substitution was tactical, or whether it's because he was feeling that hamstring a little bit. But that's the worrying thing. There were Jackson and a Moise Caicedo injury away from our season falling apart. It could have fallen apart, as I said, today in that first half, because had we not won this game, the atmosphere would have been toxic. It started off with a demonstration by some of our fan base about exploitation. And if anyone watched the video that I did yesterday about wanting to move to Earl's Court, that's another thing I forgot to bring up, and that I can't get tickets. And obviously now I know the reason I can't get tickets is because they're holding tickets back for some American supporters. I'm hoping that if we do move into a 60,000 stadium, it would open up the way for more genuine supporters like myself to get like a season ticket, or even if I'm a member, to be able to pick up some tickets, because the only time I get tickets is when I get given by friends, or I don't want to pay extortionate prices for tickets. So I got some good friends who sell them to me at the face value. So that's another reason for wanting to, me not opposing to moving away from the bridge. Anyway, back to the football. So yeah, it was a very flat atmosphere today. We were just circulating the ball, not really doing anything, and we knew that West Ham came with a game plan, 5 at the back, very defensive. They played a really low block, and we couldn't get through. We were just playing at walking pace, really. The only one who was trying to make a difference in the first half and affect the game was Enzo Fernandez. He was trying to make some penetrating balls, put some penetrating balls through, but everyone else seemed to be just playing at walking pace, and we always knew that we were a mistake away. Cause that's what happens with Chelsea. We huff and puff, and then we gift the sides a goal, and that's exactly what's happened. And I don't speak enough about Levi Colwill, but he seems to be protected by some of our fan base. But this guy, serious questions have got to be had about his strength and his concentration, because he's weak, very weak on the ball. So many times this season he's been brushed off the ball with ease, and he got away with one earlier with a sloppy pass, but then that should have been a warning sign. He put in another sloppy pass, and Bowen, players always come back against us. Bowen, who had been injured for a while, good finish. No bat lift, good finish. And I thought he was West Ham's best player throughout. Very lively, very inventive. And him and Kudos, I thought, looked pretty good for West Ham. And then, but second half, credit where credit's due, because I was kind of criticising the football, the type of football that we were playing, and Maresca was on top of my list for criticism for we were playing against a team who were crowding the box, and we were playing with inverted fullbacks. No width was coming into the game, and it made it easy for West Ham. But as I said, I criticise him, but credit where credit's due. He came out in the second half with a different game plan. No messing about with the substitutions. Mark Gui comes on straight away, and the person who turned the game for me was Neto. But actually, in the first half, I forgot. Brilliant save by Areola for that Cole Palmer free kick. That was going right into the top corner. But anyway, back to the second half. So Pedro Neto, chalk and cheese between him and Noni Madueke. Now, I'm not one who's always getting on Noni Madueke's case, but you got to I call it as I see it. No agendas here, and sorry, because a lot of our fan base are saying, "Oh, because he's black," and back in the day, black people, players were labelled as lazy and everything else. But today, sorry, he could be labelled as lazy because he was, and there was a moment in the first half where Enzo Fernandez was seething at him, and I saw it, and I was seething as well. We're chasing the game, we're 1-0 down, and who puts in a cross? I think Sancho must have put a cross in. Fernandez had made an unselfish run to free up the back post for Madueke, who he thought would be coming in, but he turned around. Where was Madueke? He was a strolling. We're 1-0 down. Where's your desire to get the equaliser? He was walking. There was no bust in the gut to get into the penalty area. And that's what I'm saying. These guys need a bit of hunger and desire. I don't want no prima donnas walking around when you need a goal. Football is all about putting in those extra yards. I was critical of him for the goal conceded against, was it Wolves when he was walking back? This guy has got to be doing more off the ball. What we saw with Neto was chalk and cheese. This guy never gave up any balls, any what we thought were lost causes. He was there, and he won the ball back a few times with his tenacity and his desire. And as I said, he gave us a bit of thrust on that right hand side, and rewarded with a goal by following up from the shot by Fernandez, and it was a good finish by him. We got a bit of fortune because some say it was a foul. I think it was a bit of 50-50 on Bowen. Bowen didn't even complain about it. I think Gary Neville was making more of it than it was, to be honest. He just came across his player, which is okay to do, and I don't think it was a foul personally, but sometimes the way our luck's been, it could have been given. And VAR tried their hardest to stop us from getting that goal. They're trying to see whether Gui touched the ball. And if it's inconclusive, the fact that they're looking at it for about 3 or 4 times and it was inconclusive, you can't give it. They were trying their hardest to see a way that they can rule it out. And then they tried for another offside, but then they couldn't. They couldn't justify ruling the goal out. And the goal stood back in the game, and we got another bit of good fortune as well with the shot cross by Cole Palmer, came off Wan-Bissaka into the back of the net. 2 quick fire goals. Game turns on its head. But also, what I did like about Maresca today, so Maresca gets applauded. It's not only for the early substitutions that he made, because he changed the shape as well. He moved, then he took off Sancho. He took off Sancho first, then he took off Madueke. He moved Neto back to the right, because originally Neto was playing on the left. He's put him back on the right. He's put Nkuku on the left. And we did look a lot. We gave West Ham a lot more problems then. And it was quite good. And when we went, and we managed the game well as well, because obviously we've seen us concede a lot of late goals of late. But what he did, he took off Cole Palmer, brought in Chalobah. That's what I've been calling for him to do in previous games as well, where we've given up the lead late on. I think Fulham was one of the prime examples when we could see Fulham coming back into the game when he didn't put in a defender when we were 1-0 up just to preserve the lead. But he's learning from that, and today he put Chalobah on just to preserve the lead, because West Ham had put all the attacking players on. And the players were playing with a lot more maturity in the last 7 or 8 minutes, which was good. They were just keeping the ball, not doing anything silly, and just getting West Ham players to chase the ball around. And so it was very good game management by the players right at the end. Still got a lot of work to do, because we're only 2 points ahead of the Newcastle and Manchester City. 5th may get us into the Champions League this season, but I still said, we're waiting to see whether Nicholas Jackson's was an injury or was it whether it was tactical. But yeah, so but without those reinforcements, I think it's going to be tight all the way to the end of the season. And the last point I want to make: Reece James, he's fallen off a cliff. I know he's coming back from injury, but it's sad to see him being outpaced. Was it Solar or someone who just outpaced him? He's lost that yard of pace. So, but maybe, as I said, it's because he's been out for so long. Hopefully, he can come back to that level that he was at before, because he's at the moment he's not quite there yet. So. Anyway, a win's a win. 3 points is 3 points. We're back and forth. That tops off a positive end to what has been a negative week, especially with the transfer window, and what's going on there. So anyway, guys, stick your comments in the section below. Don't forget, as always, like, subscribe, turn on post notifications to be notified every time I make a new video. So take care. Bye bye.